What is up, everybody? J Nell here with my UFC 172 recap video. I told you, don't sleep. This was going to be a good event, and it was. From the main card all the way down to the first prelim. Excellent event. Now let's get into it, into the main card. I was 4-5. So pretty good. First up, I got my pick of Max Holloway to beat Andre Fili. He did. This win came in the third round. They were going back and forth. I actually think that Andre might have been winning this fight. But in the third round, Max landed some hard shots that kind of backed him up against the cage. And then he went for a guillotine. They fell onto the floor, onto the ground, the mat, and he was able to sink in the choke even tighter. And he got Andre to tap to the guillotine. Great win for Max. Good performance from both of these guys. They're 22 and 23. They have a huge, long career ahead of them. So who do you want to see them both fight next, especially Max Holloway? Next up, I got my pick of Jim Miller to beat Yancy Medeiros. He did in the first round, quicker than I thought, actually. This came, they both were going back and forth. Then Jim Miller is all aggressive, but he attacked with the guillotine. He pulled guard, got him to the ground. Jim's on his back, has him in the guillotine. Yancy does not tap. He gets choked all the way out. Put to sleep on top of Jim Miller. So while Jim Miller's waiting for the professionals to come over and move him safely, he's just sitting there raising his hands in victories with the sleeping man on him. It was a funny moment. Funny moment as in him laying there with the sleeping guy and the hands raised. It was kind of awkward. Not funny that he actually put a man to sleep. You know, that was a nasty victory. A good victory. Who do you want to see Jim Miller fight next? There's talks of Donald Cowboy Cerrone, but I believe he'll be out for a minute. He's got some kind of nagging injuries. So who else other than Donald would you like Jim Miller to fight next? Next up, I got my pick of Luke Rockhold over Tim Boetsch, and it came a lot earlier than I anticipated. I thought this would be a much closer fight. It was kind of a bad luck of the draw for Tim. He went for a takedown early in the first round, and in doing so, they both kind of did like a somersault together, and the way they landed, Luke landed on top. He had Tim's arm and head trapped in his legs in like a triangle position. His legs were in the triangle, had him tapped, or had him trapped. Then he had both hands free, and he was going for the Kimura on Tim's right arm. Tim knew what he was doing. He was trying to defend. He was having his body flat on the mat so he couldn't get the leverage, but Luke just kind of worked it, finally got the position he needed and tapped him in the first round. Great, strong victory for Luke. Who do you want to see him fight next? Now, he wants to fight he wants to avenge his loss against Vitor Belfort. Michael Bisping, he wants to shut up. One of the reporters in the post-press conference actually asked a question that's been on my mind, which is, Luke, do you really have to avenge your loss against Vitor? I know it was your first fight coming in, but you've been strong since, and your record kind of stands for itself. You don't really have to beat Vitor to continue climbing the rankings and getting a title shot. But he said he just wants to fight him. I think it's like a nagging thing for him. He just doesn't like it. Irks him. It irks him. Let me know what you think. Should he avenge that loss against Vitor? Does he have to? Can he bypass that and continue moving up the rankings? What do you think about the Michael Bisping? Who else would you like to see Luke Rockhold fight next? Now, co-main event. This is the one I did not get, and I'm probably not the only one. I chose Phil Davis to beat Anthony Rumble Johnson. He did not. He got his butt whooped for 3 rounds. All 3 judges basically gave Anthony all 3 rounds. Anthony hit so hard. Every shot. Our lovely Los Angeles department coming to someone's aid during my video. Anthony Rumble Johnson. Everything he threw, you could hear sound. You could hear that slapping noise against the face, against the chest. Everything he threw, you could hear. He hits so hard. He busted him up in the first round and defended all takedown attempts. Phil could not take him down. He looked so strong and so dominant against the number 4 ranked opponent. It was a great victory. The type of victory that gets you ranked. Here's something that's been bugging me. Daniel Cormier beat Patrick Cummings and is now ranked number 5 in the 205 weight division. And maybe ranked number 10, 9, 8, but not number 5. Not off of beating someone who just came off a coffee shop who hasn't been fighting. Now, Anthony running through Phil Davis, that's the type of performance that gets you ranked. It's just my opinion. If you let me know how you feel about Daniel Cormier being ranked number 5 off of beating Patrick Cummings. I disagree with that. And who do you want Anthony Rumble Johnson to fight next? Now, main event, and I chose my boy, Jon Jones to beat Glover Teixeira, and my boy did dominantly all 5 rounds. Unanimous decision. All judges gave him all 5 rounds. This was a great performance from him. He couldn't finish him, but he dominated him. This did not go to the ground at all. He probably pretty much by choice. He won in a kind of a different way than folks thought. People thought he would use his range, his reach advantage, and kind of beat him from the outside, but he didn't. Early on in the first round, he got him up against the fence, and he was able to kind of put a shoulder crank. He was cranking, twerking that shoulder, and he said himself he heard 2 pops of Glover's elbow, and he was like, nice. After that, Glover's shoulder was hurt since then, so he put a lot of weight on it, a lot of dirty boxing, inside hand fighting, that he won all of it. He won all of that. From the outside, the variety of attacks, different kicks, kicks, spinning kicks, heel kicks, knees, push kicks, elbows. He threw so many different types of shots. It had me confused watching. It was, he's impressive. Jon Jones is impressive. And it's not because he's my boy, it's because he's impressive at 26 years old. And he did some things that are kind of shady. He did one of those things, put the hand in the face to kind of block the vision so they don't see the punch coming, to see that step-in elbow coming. He did that, poked him in the eye a couple of times, twice to be exact, and the ref gave him a stern warning, told him, if you do that again, I will take away the point. And he stopped. He would hold the head, hold the hands, a lot of really annoying, kind of shady, but legal tactics. I mean, you do what you got to do to keep that belt. Here's the thing about that. People say, how do you feel about the shady tactics? I try to put myself in that position. Would I do everything that I could that's legal to keep my belt? Yeah, I would. So, great victory for Johnny Bones Jones. Who do you want to see him fight? It's going to be Alexander Gustafsson, so that's next for him. Who do you want to see Glover Teixeira fight next? Let me know any updates, any injury updates. Talk to me. Take care. Goodbye.